Hello, I want to welcome everybody to our session today. This is the first of what will be weekly webinar recordings from HiBob. I'm going to be your host for this one. My name is Billy Dorsey. I'm a senior sales engineer here at HiBob. I've got about 25 years of experience in the space, specifically working for Oracle, Cornerstone On Demand, and Busier to name a few places. Our focus today is going to be on our award-winning HCM, Bob. I say award-winning, please take some time to Google time and HiBob, and it will give you some insight into what I'm specifically referring to there. With all that being said, let's jump right into things. So our focus today is really going to be about looking at some of the things that HR leaders are actually prioritizing, specifically maximizing the employee experience, really driving that layer of engagement and what that looks like. Also being able to have an agile strategy, understanding that the business can grow and you need tools to help it as it grows along the way. Streamlining, automating so that you can save time, helping your employees to understand where their resources are and how to get to them easily. Also creating global transparency. And this is going to really funnel into the next one, number 5 as well, but creating global transparency so we understand how the business is running from the perspective of it's not just one site that's based here in the US, it's multiple sites that I could be doing things like reporting for, right? And really being able to get a holistic view of how we are actually running the business, which dives directly into number 5 there, measuring to make better decisions. So with that being said, we are going to focus in on our friend Dominic here. Dominic is a global director of human resources, and he's going to dive directly into the platform. So when he dives into the platform, a couple of quick takeaways. He's going to hit this beautiful landing page, and this is where we immediately call out the maximizing the employee experience. It's giving him the ability to have this easy look and feel and the ability to move and see all the things that are going on across the organization. So down the middle, kind of really calling out things like our shout outs and kudos, which we'll talk about, birthdays, new hires, anniversaries. So really fostering that sense of belonging within the organization. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. And then on the left, this is where we helped drive that agile strategy within your business, right? So understanding that, hey, today we want to be able to link and daisy chain these types of activities and initiatives together. So that whether that's driving performance reviews through our talent, whether that's having a plan around workforce and how I tie that plan into our hiring strategy, and then being able to understand how we report across those things, right? So that we have that true view into the organization. We want to help you with that strategy, and we want to streamline your actual approach so that you can see and tell that story of your business. So Dominic is here, and there are a couple of things that he actually wants to do. His sister recently had a baby, and he'd like to go visit his sister and meet the baby. So he's going to request some time off, and you'll notice that he has this easy link. It's streamlined for him. It's right there, right up front. He can come in, select the actual policy that he wants to use, and he's going to use some vacation days, and he's then going to come in and pop in a couple of dates so that he can go visit. You're going to notice a couple of things. One, the ability to upload any documentation here, supporting docs, any notes that he wants to add. But then on the right, it's going to tell him the days that he has off, full days here. Let him know what his forecasted balance is. And from there, he can go ahead and submit this. And when he submits it, it's going to go up the chain to the designated individual. So whether that's his manager, whether it's a HRBP, or whether it's someone responsible for his department in general. Now, that's one way of him being able to do that. Another way that he could go about doing that is here, right under the essentials area. So one of our key takeaways is we want to automate and streamline so that employees are saving time as they're going through these workflows. So maybe Dominic is out in the field. He's at an event and he needs to request that time off because the baby has arrived. He could easily do that via Slack, We have a Slack integration that allows him to then request those same sets of days off in Slack. It funnels directly back into Bob, goes to the appropriate person for approvals. We can do the same thing when it's time for him to go through benefits. Open enrollment, okay, great. He can then drive with one click directly to his benefits, choose those benefits, and have that information updated. So we know organizations have 80 to 120 different types of apps. We want to be a part of that ecosystem, drive to those other apps, and make sure we're meeting employees where they are in the flow of work, streamlining all of those processes. Okay, perfect. He's gotten those two things done. The next thing he wants to do is jump in and really give a kudo out to one of his team members. His team has been responsible for some huge initiatives driving different processes across the HR landscape. And so he's been doing things like giving shout outs to people. He's been running polls to see kind of different processes internally that they need to change, as well as he's been giving kudos to his team because they have been at the forefront of all of this. And so you'll notice he can segment out who he's looking for here by department, which is his department, the people department. Can come in and very quickly drop in his message here, even take and maybe throw in a little emoji, right? And go ahead and post that. And once he posts it, here you go. There's that shout out directly to Suzanne, letting her know that she's doing such a great job. Once again, understanding the landscape of things that's going on. We want to increase that sense of belonging, especially if you're in a global organization. Belonging, fostering true engagement, valuing a connected organization. That's part of what we are driving here within Bob that you're seeing on the homepage. And of course, it doesn't stop there. I called out some of these other types of things that are in here, such as birthdays, anniversaries, availability, new hires. All of that information is encompassed in one place. And we send out notifications to let people know about all these great things that are happening across the organization to bring them to the platform. Okay. So a couple of other things that Dominic needs to get out of the way. He's currently launching a new project. It's going to be social media focused. And he needs to find someone who has that skill set to help him to really drive what their messaging is going to be around social media. And so he's going to click over here in his toolkit, and he's going to go to the club view. And the club view is really that tool that allows him to see across the organization, whether it's sales, whether it's operations. We can do this from a department standpoint. We can do it based on cities, hobbies. He's going to focus in on superpowers, which you can also customize the views that you need here as well. We know that different organizations want different views, so we give you the ability to customize it. He's going to dig into superpowers here and immediately go to creatives. He's looking for the people across the organization that have that skill set and immediately find Arlo. Perfect. Who's their social media manager. When he clicks on Arlo's image, it's going to bring him to this holistic view of Arlo in the organization, i.e. his employee profile. It's fully customizable and configurable. It's a holistic view of him in the sense that if you look at this left-hand menu, it's going to encompass all of the things that are relevant about him within the actual organization. So as you're thinking more and more about the organization and creating that global transparency, this is one way that we go about doing that, is giving you those views directly into who the people are. So he looks at this and says, okay, great. I've got a little bit of information. I would really love to know where he sits in the organization. Let's go to the org chart. And this is going to give Dominic that view directly into who Arlo reports directly into within the organization and how it rolls all the way up to the top. I can configure this view, set the cards up to show a picture, not show a picture, decide what kinds of fields I actually want to capture there. It's all at my fingertips. Okay, perfect. Dominic has found the person that he needs to work on this specific activity with. So he's going to go ahead and continue. He's going to go ahead and continue on directly to the directory. He wants to take a little bit deeper of a look at a little bit of information there. So he's going to click on the directory at the very top on the left, and a couple of things. You'll see how he has pulled some of this information into a view that he wants to see. He can add to this view and configure this view very easily by saying, okay, well, if there are things in here maybe that I don't want to see, or I'd like a different view here, he can configure the view very easily with something called our column picker. Well, what's the value in this? The value is really that we understand that most organizations work from a set of spreadsheets or specific types of views, or want to understand things from a general reporting perspective. And what we give you the ability to do is come in and easily translate the information that you want into views that are simple, yet super powerful. So that I can then take this information, drag and drop it to where I want it. This really does give me the look and feel that I'm looking for to get the information that I need, all the while allowing me to segment out and filter information as I see fit across the organization. So simplicity, streamlining, saving me time, right? Giving me that, once again, global transparency because I can see across the whole organization. Perfect. So I was able to easily go find the person that I needed to work on my specific project. I was also able to dig into the directory and get the view that I wanted so that I can easily tap into people, and I can do this via my mobile device as well. All right, we're back to the home page. We're in the home stretch. Let's talk a little bit about two more things that Dominic's going to focus in on. He's responsible for all kinds of different tasks. And one of the things that we help to do is to drive him, one, to those tasks with notifications, but also keeping him on top of those tasks. So it could be a myriad of different things, whether he's having workflows that are set up for new joiners that are onboarding into the organization, whether it's just keeping him abreast of new things that are going on. So any of those things can be set up as actual tasks that are generated directly to him. He sees them as notifications, and he can come in and quite simply mark them as complete as he's completing them. We can also have notifications set up for if he's past due for anything, and continuously have those notifications bring him back to the platform so that we make sure that he's on task and actually completing the activities that he's supposed to be completing. The value here, once again, that global transparency as he's managing his global team. He can see all of his HR based tasks here that he needs to complete. He can see all of his onboarding activities for his new hire, as well as the new hire would see their activities in their task. So everyone is kept on the same page. Last but not least, as he's doing all of this day-to-day work, one of the key takeaways is making sure that he can tell the story of the organization. And one of the things that he's focused on as a leader right now is the ability to get his attrition numbers down. He wants to retain all of those great folks on the people team within the organization. He understands that right now, people are leaving for various reasons. And so he wants to keep his finger kind of on the pulse of his portion of the organization. And so Bob is going to make it easy for him to do that. First, we're going to deliver these pre-built reports, as well as pre-built dashboards. And so that's what we're seeing here is a pre-built retention dashboard that gives him a high level of, this is turnover and attrition. This is what your retention looks like. Here's your average tenure, average age. And then we're going to back that data up with insights so that he can easily come in and start to see things like, okay, well, what is my turnover rate month over month, quarter over quarter, year over year, depending on how he wants to slice and dice that information. But we're even going to take it a little bit further. We want to make sure we're delivering value for Dominic. And so in that regard, we're also going to pull out things that are of importance to him. What is that value right? Month over month as he's looking at it. What are some things that maybe he needs to be looking at in terms of benchmarking? So, what is the industry doing so that he can have some insight into that to know if he's actually hitting the mark with all of the initiatives he has around retention? And we're going to continue to deliver on that at every turn for him as he's interacting with this dashboard so that he can see and understand where those metrics are, be able to tell that story. More importantly, let's make this information available for him in the way that he wants it, through filters, or he's going into a board meeting and wants to, take and drop this directly into a PowerPoint. We're going to give him that PNG so that he can just take that visual, drop it into the PowerPoint and deliver it. Or we'll take it even a step further and say, let's take this as is, log into Bob while you're in the meeting, and you can present your metrics here over time and see them and have that conversation with your C-suite. Okay, that was a lot of great information. Let's talk about what we just saw. So we talked about the ability to maximize your employee experience. And you can see that in Bob. As you look at that front page, it's engaging, it's inviting. We start with doing things like kudos and shout outs and polls, capturing anniversaries, all those things that you oftentimes do and capture as a part of spreadsheets or that are in siloed systems, you can now capture in one place. Driving an agile strategy. That's really about having all the tools for you to grow with the platform. So maybe today you're not doing performance reviews. Maybe you're not looking at cascading goals, but we need to be agile and deliver to you as our clients the ability to say, we want to have this full tech stack that touches on all the things that we do, whether it's hiring, workforce planning, compensation, payroll, so that we have that one view of kind of how the business is doing. And then streamlining and automating and saving time. For HR leaders, these things are super important. HR is doing more with less today, and they're continuously being asked to do so. So how can they build in things like the essentials when you know your tech stack is huge, but we want to get employees to the right place and save them time doing it, as well as automate many of the flows and tasks and things that they're responsible for. And then creating global transparency. If you're a multinational organization, you want to understand how your business is operating, and you want to offer one platform for everyone to work from. And then using measurements measuring to make better decisions. So Bob's delivering those out-of-the-box dashboards that are ready to go, out-of-the-box reports that are ready to go. You can build your own dashboards, you can build your own reports and get those insights that really tell the full and complete story of your business going forward. It gives HR leaders a seat at the table and helps them to walk into those meetings feeling very confident that they can now show how the business is growing, where it's elastic, where it needs to be pulled back in places, or where you can continue your growth trajectory. I want to thank you for your time today. It's been my pleasure. Look forward to speaking with you on the next call.
Thank you, Billy, and thank you everyone for attending. If you would like to see more of Bob, we'd love to talk to you. You'll be receiving a follow-up email from us with a link to easily schedule some time with an expert if and when you're ready. Otherwise, thanks again for joining and have a great day.